What if the most powerful part of Ariana Grande's voice isn't her range, her whistles, or her ability to hit impossible notes, but the discipline behind knowing when not to use them? What if the secret to her vocal longevity isn't raw talent at all, but restraint? Because behind the effortless runs and angelic tone that the world hears, there is a level of control, sacrifice, and mental precision that most people never see. And once you notice it, you realize her voice isn't just lifted, it's engineered. Ariana Grande did not become one of the most recognizable voices of her generation by pushing her voice to its limits every time she stepped on a stage. In fact, her true discipline lies in doing the opposite. In an industry that rewards constant vocal flexing, she learned early that survival comes from protection. Have you ever noticed how many incredible singers burn out young, lose their range, or quietly disappear after a few explosive years? Ariana watched that happen in real time, and instead of chasing vocal dominance, she chose sustainability. From the beginning, her voice was unusual, naturally light, high, and agile. It carried both power and fragility. That combination is dangerous. Voices like that can soar, but they can also shatter. Ariana understood this before most people understood her. She didn't treat her voice as a weapon to overpower rooms. She treated it as an instrument that needed careful calibration. Every tour, every performance, every recording session came with a calculation. How much can I give today without stealing from tomorrow? This is where discipline becomes invisible to the audience. When Ariana steps back from belting in certain live performances, it isn't fear, it's strategy. When she simplifies a melody that fans know she could easily explode, it isn't laziness, it's preservation. Vocal discipline isn't about what you can do, it's about what you choose not to do, even when everyone expects it. Ask yourself honestly, how often do people reward you for restraint rather than excess? One of the most misunderstood aspects of Ariana's vocal approach is her obsession with technique over spectacle. Breathing, placement, vowel shaping, resonance control. These are not glamorous topics. They don't trend. They don't go viral. But they are the difference between a voice that lasts 5 years and a voice that lasts a lifetime. Ariana didn't rely on youth to carry her sound. She trained as if her future depended on it, because it did. There's also emotional discipline involved, and this part is rarely discussed. Ariana has lived through intense public trauma, personal loss, and constant scrutiny. Emotional stress directly affects the voice. Tension tightens muscles. Anxiety restricts breath. Grief alters control. Many artists unconsciously destroy their voices during emotional periods because they don't know how to separate expression from damage. Ariana learned to channel emotion without letting it hijack her technique. That takes an extraordinary level of self-awareness. Have you ever tried to stay controlled when your emotions are pulling you in every direction? Another layer of her discipline is silence. Ariana disappears vocally more than people realize. She rests. She cancels. She pulls back. In a culture that equates visibility with relevance, choosing silence is risky. But vocal rest is non-negotiable if longevity is the goal. She understood that no album cycle is worth permanent damage. No tour is worth losing your instrument. That mindset alone separates disciplined artists from disposable ones. Midway through this story, it's worth asking you directly, do you think discipline is more impressive when it's invisible? If you're enjoying this deeper breakdown and want more content that looks beneath the surface of fame, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. And while you're here, leave a comment. Do you believe Ariana's restraint makes her voice more powerful, or do you miss the moments when she goes all out? Ariana's studio discipline is just as intense as her live discipline. In recording sessions, she is known for stacking vocals with surgical precision. Every layer is intentional. Every harmony is placed to support, not overwhelm. This creates the illusion of effortlessness, but the reality is control. She doesn't rely on volume to create impact. She relies on texture, and texture lasts. There's also the discipline of identity. Ariana resisted the pressure to constantly reinvent her vocal persona just to stay interesting. While trends shifted toward grit, rawness, or exaggerated imperfection, she stayed rooted in clarity and control. That doesn't mean she didn't evolve. It means she evolved within her instrument's natural strengths instead of fighting against them. That's a lesson many people ignore in their own lives. How often do we try to become something louder instead of becoming something deeper? Perhaps the most impressive part of Ariana Grande's vocal discipline is how little she talks about it. She doesn't frame herself as a martyr of hard work. She doesn't lecture about technique. She lets the results speak quietly, and that quiet confidence mirrors her vocal approach perfectly. Controlled, measured, sustainable. In the end, Ariana's voice feels powerful not because it dominates every second, but because it feels protected. There is no desperation in it, no strain, no rush to prove anything, and that's why it continues to sound youthful, flexible, and emotionally resonant year after year. So here's the final question I'll leave you with. In a world that constantly rewards excess, do you think true power now comes from discipline instead? If this perspective changed the way you hear Ariana Grande's voice, subscribe for more deep dives like this and share your thoughts in the comments. Because sometimes, the most impressive strength is the one you barely notice at all.